Hi, this is Sam, and this is another video for A+ Math. And today I'm going to talk a little bit about the greatest common factor, also known as the GCF, and also the lowest common multiple, the LCM. So we're going to start with the greatest common factor, and in the previous video we saw how to find factors of a number. So if I had, for example, the number 24, then I can find the factors of 24 with the factor rainbow, which is one of the techniques we can use. So I'm going to remind you how to do that. We write 1 and 24, and then we go inside and we say, does 2 go into 24? Yes, it goes in 12 times. And every time we join these things like this with colors, that's why we call it a rainbow. So the 1 goes with the 24, the 2 with the 12. Let's keep going. Does the 3 go into the 24? It does. It goes in 8 times. Does 4 go into 24? Yes, it goes in 6 times. Does 5? No. Does 6? We already have 6, so we can stop right there. So 3 and 8, and let's pick right again, 6 and 4. There we go. So this is a factor rainbow, and so these are the factors of 24. Now if I had another number, say for example the number 30, I can make another factor rainbow of 30, and so I would have 1, 30, 2, 15, 3, 10, 4, no, 5, yes, 5 and 6. And so we're pretty much done at this point because after 5 we go to 6, but we already have a 6. So just to add a bit of color, I'm going to trace in these curved lines, 2 and 15. And you get the point, 3, 10, and then finally 5 and 6. And we can see from here that the biggest factor that both 24 and 30 share is the 6. This 6 is our greatest common factor. So if I were looking for the greatest common factor between 24 and 30, I would write greatest common factor between 24 and 30, and the solution to this would be 6. So the GCF of 24 and 30 is 6. If the greatest common factor of two numbers is 1, then we call these two numbers relatively prime. So for example, if I have 24 and 7, and I were looking for the greatest common factor of these two, it would turn out that the greatest common factor would be 1, because if I take the 7 and I do the factor rainbow of 7, it's just these two numbers, 1 and 7. That's because 7 is a prime number. And so the only factors are 1 and itself. So, so the greatest common factor between 24 and 7 would be the 1. So we call anything that has a greatest common factor equal to 1, we call those two numbers relatively prime. Let's take a look at the lowest common multiple now. If I have the numbers, let's say 4 and 6, and I were looking for the lowest common multiple, I would construct a lowest common multiple table, which would look something like this. And then I would skip counting until I found a number on the top and on the bottom that is the same. So if I count by 4s, I would have 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28. And if I start counting on the bottom, the top could keep going forever, and the bottom would also keep going forever, but we would like to stop when we have a common number. So if I skip count by 6s, I have 6, 12, 18, 24, 32, and it keeps going. And we can see right away that the smallest common number on the top and on the bottom is 12. It's not the only common number. There's also 24. And so it turns out that there are infinitely many common multiples, but the lowest common multiple is also the smallest number that is the same on top and on the bottom. So in this case here, if I were looking for the lowest common multiple, LCM, of 4 and 6, The answer would be 12. There are other techniques for finding the greatest common factor or the lowest common multiple, which involves the prime factorization or prime factor trees, which I will show you in a different video.